Fenix Ammunition, and what's the big hoopla? Alright, so we have another issue that's popped up in society. And this issue has been ongoing since the start of the cocoa. And it's masks. So this past summer, I had another YouTuber come down and he gave me some of the Fenix Ammunition, now the company in question that we're going to talk about. He gave me some of the ammunition. I've shot some of it and it works. I shot out of my SIG 365 and it shoots well. It's 147 grain ball ammo. Never had any kind of issues with it. So masks, man, this is an issue that's been going on in society since the start. It has separated families, friends. I've seen all kinds of friendships ruin over it. I've even kind of distanced myself from certain people that have that kind of mentality of, if you don't wear a mask, the world is going to crumble. I've seen it time and time again, and I've kind of separated myself from those situations. Now we have this one. To put this all in perspective, so apparently this company had some business going on, and somebody walked in there and people weren't wearing a mask. Well then, you know what they do? They go and tell the good old health department, the people that say they save lives, and they put out this kind of piece of paper that tells them they're in violation of this mandate. In Michigan, Whitmire is a beast. She is such a demon beast that it's uncontrollable, even to the point where she wants to extend her executive powers and continue to clamp down on the people in that populace. She is killing businesses up there, especially the small ones, and really suffocating that economy there. And this is another example of it with masks. Now, I've even seen it in my own community where people have done this. They've gone to a place, somebody doesn't have a mask on, they run out of there, and they go tattletale. And then that business gets struck down, or they get closed. I've even seen a business get closed. I mean, these mask mandates that are getting proposed and getting put into some kind of legislation is crippling businesses left and right. I've seen it in my own town. Now, my business is failing. This is what they're saying is because of the pandemic. This is why this business is closing. I'm going to be out of a job now. So you can see this affecting all kinds of people in all kinds of walks of life. So with all this being said, they get served this notice by the police, and then they make the decision not to sell ammunition to law enforcement anymore, which, okay, I agree with that. As long as you're not discriminating on race, color, and creed, fine with me. Don't sell them. Don't sell the police department ammunition. This is taking money out of their pocket, making this decision, but I think it's their right. I think they're allowed to make this kind of decision for the company. If this is what they want to do, they have every right to do it. Another thing I want to put in perspective here is all these people that wear masks and all the people that don't want to wear masks. Look what your politicians are doing. So many examples of politicians putting in mask mandates, telling you you can't go out, telling you that there's curfews, because I guess the Rona comes out at dark like Antifa and destroys everything. And look what you have. Look what you have now. You have politicians that put this stuff in place and then they don't follow their own orders. So Joe Biden signs an executive order saying you have to wear face coverings on all the federal installations, even on trains and stuff. Then goes to the Lincoln Memorial and doesn't wear a mask. How hypocritical is that? We've seen Nancy Pelosi do it. We've seen so many people in legislative positions put these orders in place and not follow it. Even Whitmire, that crazy ass bat up there in Michigan, puts this in place, and then her husband's allowed to go on the boat, have access to the beach, and they can do what they want to do, and then they restrict the rights of the citizens that they can't do it. Hypocrisy. I call it tyranny. I call it tyrannical movement on her part. Not only that, she wants to extend her powers to even enforce more mandates on that populace up there. I think it's crazy and wild. There's a reason why they're always there protesting. A lot of people don't understand this. When you start giving these people this kind of power, they're going to abuse it. Power corrupts. Absolute power is corrupt all the way through. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to any length that they're going to use this. They're going to use it as a way to stricken your rights, suck them out, throw them to the side, but yet it gives them the opportunity to break their oaths to the Constitution, to whatever Constitution you have for your state, and they can go out and do whatever they want to do while you suffer for it, while small businesses suffer for it. We see it all the time. We have been seeing it time and time again. And even further, to further this, all these thin blue line people, you are flatlining on that kind of stance. What you're not getting is, it's not the Beto O'Rourke's. It's not the people that control the White House or the House or Senate. It's these law enforcement officials that are coming, snag your guns. It's not going to be these people. These people could care less. As long as those are out of your hands and the other people in your society, they don't care. Though they want them one way or the other, and they're going to send these people in those positions one day to get these firearms. And it's going to be up to them whether they want to honor their oath or break it. And we've seen so many officers time and time again break their oath. Again, I don't think this cop should have done it. Why does he have to be the post office for the health department? And then him going in there and serving it, you pretty much sealed your own fate by doing that. Don't get sad about it. That's your own fault. When you're not following the oath that you swore to protect, this is the consequences you take. Again, this is going to hurt a little bit of their market share, but I want to put this on people in that area, in that specific location. It's going to give you an opportunity. And you say an opportunity? Yes, there's going to be more ammunition on the shelf for you to consume. Maybe at a lower price than what we've been seeing. Because they're not going to be serving law enforcement communities. And so that means they don't have that big portion taken out of what they're rolling to either, donate to the police departments or sell it to them at a cost value. So you're going to have an opportunity to get a little bit more ammunition to train with, to shoot your firearm. So look at it into that realm. I mean, come on, folks. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to let these people drag businesses in through the dirt and cripple your economies? Or are you going to stand up and say enough is enough? And I think this is what that company is doing by telling law enforcement, look, beat feet. We're willing to take a hit on this. We know you probably consume a lot of ammunition, but we're not willing to take that risk because you're not following your oath. You're serving these mandates, which are not law. You're there to implement the rule of law. Mandates are not law. They're guidelines. They're telling you what you should do. It's so out of control right now. Masks have been the front story on every newspaper. I watched the newspaper here in my local area throw something about masks for about 15 days straight and watched all the comments of people chewing each other apart about it, whether you wanted to wear them or you didn't want to wear them. To me, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on YouTube, and I don't play it out in society. I don't care what you do. I'm going to talk to you regardless whether you have a mask on or you don't. It's up to you. I believe as Americans, we have that freedom. We have that freedom of choice. That's what this country was founded on. Just like these people have their freedom. As long as they're not shitting on somebody for their race, color, or creed, fine, don't sell it to them. If I walked into a restaurant and somebody said, oh, look at that hat. I don't, you can't wear that hat in here. You need to leave. I'd say, see you later. I vote with my pocketbook. I have the ability to spend my money where I need to spend the money. I'll either go to another restaurant or catch something out in the backyard and eat it. self-sufficient, you know? So it doesn't affect me like it affects some people that get all hot and heated. You know, if you don't want my business, that's fine. I'll move on. I'll find somewhere else to consume what I need to consume. It's that simple. And for them to take this position, I commend them for it. This is, you reap what you sow. You get rewards and consequences in life. I talk about almost all the time in my videos that we have that obligation as Americans to make these tough decisions. If this is the decision they want to take, fine, I'll stick by it. I feel they're more interested in the Second Amendment and conserving our constitutional rights and preserving them and setting an example. It's always going to be hard to find ammunition. It's always going to be hard going here forth from what I've seen and the numbers that I have access to when I get emails at work. I'm probably not going to have that kind of ability anymore, which is really going to, you know, cramp some of the stuff that I do. But I think I can find that information somewhere, one way or another. But it's really fun to get that privy to that information about how the market is going to fluctuate. Federal just recently released another video out there, and this guy, all he talked about was PPE and how he's got to take care of his workers. They're got to have temperature checks. They got to have masks. We know this. If you're not doing that as an employer, you're a shitty employer. That's just how I look at it. And then he talks about ammunition on the scale of hunting. Hunting is pretty widespread at this point. There's been a lot of new hunters. I mean, you can't do anything because the politicians are telling you can't go to restaurants or businesses or, you know, go watch a movie. So people have taken up hunting. I get that. There's a fluctuation into the market. But then he says, well, we've done so much hunting ammunition. We've done more than we've ever done in the history of the company. Where was that ammunition? I never saw it. You know, what I saw was handguns were limited. There was limited availability to that, and there was limited ability to the handgun ammunition. So what else does this guy think people are going to buy? Shotguns and rifles. That's what they're going to buy. Because that was, at one point, that was the only ammunition that was left on the shelf. Was 12 gauge, 20 gauge, or 243, 30-06, or 308. Apparently, he forgot 308 is a battle rifle caliber in some militaries, and some people own firearms that feed that cartridge. What do you think people are going to do when they can't get a handgun into their possession? They're going to go buy whatever's available. So that video was off. That's why it's even more important to support companies like Fenix. Just for the fact, when these companies get up and running, they start producing mass amounts of ammunition and they start to grow, then they start to influx that into the market. There's only two ways we're going to get out of this ammunition crunch, and I see it as only these two ways. It's either new companies spring up and like companies like Fenix start to expand and start flooding the market with ammunition to bring costs down, or we just stop consuming it at the levels that we're seeing at this point in time. $50, $100, $150 a box of ammunition. If you continue to pay that price, it's never going to drop off. It's never going to do that. Hopefully, if it ever does, this has taught you one valuable lesson, that you should stockpile ammunition for the calibers that you have. And that's all I have to say about that. There's no more speculation. This is what's got to happen. And I believe those two things is what has to happen in order to get us to the point where we saw years ago, to get us back to that level. And that's only two things. Stop buying it at the inflated cost that we're seeing it, or start supporting some of these companies like Fenix and start helping them expand their businesses so we don't have to rely on companies like Federal, who at first crap on their clientele and then sit there and cry about the pandemic. We've been going through this for a year. It's been just as hard on us than it has on them. You know, last time I looked, Federal wasn't going out of business. Last time I looked, a lot of my local small mom and pop shops have gone out of business. Even my job is going now. So we have to calm down on the consumption of ammunition, or we support companies like Fenix and help them expand. It's that simple. Those are the only two ways we're going to get out of there. I fully support their decision not to sell to law enforcement. That's their right. If they're willing to take the risk to take themselves out of that part of the market, so be it. Whether it hurts them or helps them, time will only tell when you make these kind of decisions for a company. I've seen it on my level. So I wanted to put that out there, that I've used their product. I don't have a problem with it. It shot well out of my firearm. If you live in this area where they manufacture this stuff, give it a shot. Go look at their Twitter account or whatever piece of social media they're associated with, and go look on how you can order this ammunition and try it out for yourself. I'm not paid by them. This was given to me by a friend, and I don't have a problem with it, whether it's their stance on what's happening to them now, because I've seen it happen in my area, or, the way ammunition is now. Something's got to give here, and I think a lot of people need to check themselves, and they need to see what these politicians are doing, that these mass mandates, this government overreach that they're doing is totally crippling economies around this great country, and it's sad to see. I don't ever want to see it back in the early 2000s and watching so many people be out of a job. We're heading down that path now, and it's getting even quicker. The way these politicians are implementing their overreaches of their mandates, and this is another example of it. And then on the backside of it, they're clamping that little mask on there to just put the bow on this BS legislation that they're trying to push in all the states. With all that being said, I'd like to thank my old and my new subscribers, and just the people that zip through. Greatly appreciate it. I've noticed 63% of people watch my videos but aren't subscribed. Please look into hitting that subscription. Hit that bell for more notifications whenever YouTube wants to send them out there. And like always, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.